Fayetteville, and welcome to my new office. I am going to speak to you tonight about something that we wanted to address the Cumberland County GOP about, but as you saw in the City View article, we were shut down and not allowed to speak. There was an issue that we wanted to bring to the attention of the chairman, Bruce Sykes, and just wanted to just share with him something that we saw going on in the party that needed to be addressed and acknowledged. Okay, so what I'm going to explain to you, I handed out this paper right here, that explains a rule. It is Article 9, Section E.3, titled Automatic Resignation. So this is an issue that we noticed that had happened, that had occurred, that I don't think anybody else realized had happened. And we felt like it was very important, something that should have been addressed. But Mr. Sykes was not willing to allow us to speak and have discussion on this issue. We held a meeting. It was at the Cumberland County GOP third executive committee meeting. And a committee meeting is where all executive committee members are invited to attend and be current and up to date on what's going on in the party and to make decisions on what is going on in the party. And so just a few days before this, one of the members had posted on Facebook that she didn't appreciate that people were going to Facebook to voice their grievances, but they should, like adults, come to the meeting and address their grievances at the meeting and discuss it like adults, which is what we did. I printed up this little handout that explained a rule, the rule of automatic resignation, that we just wanted to explain that. Now I'm not a voting member, I'm just a guest. But I am a registered Republican, which allows me to sit in on the meeting. Although I cannot, as just a guest, I can't make motions and I can't vote. But I can attend and I can listen, and I should be able to be heard as a registered Republican. I should be able to be heard. And whoever is my executive committee member, which would be my precinct chair, should be able to advocate for me as a voting member. Okay, so I brought this to the attention. My daughter and I, Calista, and some of the other members had brought this. We're attempting to bring this issue to the attention of the chair and the body for understanding and for acknowledgement. But we were soundly heckled, mocked, harangued, and soundly shut down. Apparently, freedom of speech, not there. And it was very, very sad. And as you saw in the City View in the article about what happened after, it was a disgrace. It was a disgrace. So I would like to just briefly go over the issue that we wanted to present and explain it to the Republicans. And I hope that I'm reaching out to the grassroots Republicans that are tired of seeing the establishment, the rhino Republicans, taking over and making decisions without you and expecting you to fall in line and just, you're trusting that our leadership is making decisions on your behalf and that they're conducting themselves and conducting business according to the plan of organization. And as I explain this, you'll see why it's important when I get to the end. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and try to make this as brief as possible and just stick with it. Let me read directly what the automatic resignation rule is in the plan of organization of the North Carolina GOP. Here's what it says. Any committee member or officer of a county, district, or state Republican executive committee campaigning in person, on social media, or in any other manner for a candidate in any race who is not a member of the Republican Party and is running in opposition to a member of the Republican Party shall have been deemed to have automatically resigned from the committee of any position. In addition, no committee member or officer shall serve as a treasurer or member of a campaign committee for any candidate in any race if that candidate is not a member of the Republican Party and is running in opposition to a member of the Republican Party. Now, this is straight from the North Carolina Republican Party Plan of Organization, Article 9, Section E.3. And let us not conflate this rule with party disloyalty. They're two separate things. This is its own rule, automatic resignation. And I just read it to you. Now, here's how this rule, Cumberland County Republican Plan of Organization, page 36, number 3, automatic resignation, works when enforced in absolute binding terms. What I'm about to do is dissect what I just read to you, piece by piece. If you're a thinking person, and I know many of you are, you're intelligent, you're thinking, and you want to do the right thing, like I do. I'm a rule follower. Let us dissect this and let us see what it says. Here's the rules summary. Plan enforcement terms. Plain enforcement terms. Here's the rule summary. If any member or officer of the Republican Party Executive Committee at the county, district, or state level campaigns for a non-Republican candidate who is running against a Republican, of which we have two. We have two Republicans running. Oh, look at that. That was fun. That person automatically forfeits their position immediately without a vote, notice, or hearing. Okay? What automatic resignation means? Self-executing consequence. The moment a member engages in prohibited campaigning, their resignation takes effect automatically by operation of the rule itself. No motion, vote, or further action by the committee is required. No appeal or delay. Because it is automatic, there is no grace period, disciplinary process, or appeal necessary to confirm the removal. The person is considered vacated from the office immediately. Official record. Once verified, the secretary or chair must update the records to reflect that the seat is vacated and initiate procedures to file or to fill the vacancy under the party's bylaws. I'm almost done. We're just dissecting exactly what the rule states. We're dissecting it phrase by phrase, piece by piece, and if you understand the language, the English language, if you have a grasp of vocabulary, which most of you do, then you understand what it's saying. It's irrefutable, and it is indisputable. Okay, What counts as campaigning? The rule explicitly includes any form of campaigning. Mind you, I'm using the words from the rule, written rule, okay? The rule explicitly includes any form of campaigning. Bullet point number 1, in person, attending, speaking, or volunteering for the non-Republican candidate. Online, posting, sharing, liking, or commenting in favor of that candidate on social media. Indirectly, publicly encouraging votes, fundraising, distributing materials, or associating the candidate's name positively in opposition to the Republican nominee. By role, serving as treasurer, campaign staff, or committee member for that non-Republican's campaign, even in a non-public capacity, also triggers automatic resignation. Okay, let's look at the scope of the enforcement. Applies to all levels of Republican Party Executive Committee, county, district, and state. Applies to all races, local, state, or federal, where a Republican is opposed by a non-Republican. Applies equally to applies equally to officers, chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, etc., and members. Okay, let's look at the practical enforcement examples, or one example. If a precinct chair, here's an example. If a precinct chair or county executive member endorses an unaffiliated or Democratic candidate for mayor against a registered Republican candidate, or shares that candidate's campaign post on Facebook, or donates to or works for their campaign, that person is automatically deemed to have resigned from the party office as of the first instance of that action. Their position is considered vacant. Okay, and let's go to the final point, the purpose and authority. The reason why we have this rule. Okay, this clause is designed to protect party unity and loyalty. That's what it's designed for, to protect party unity and loyalty by ensuring that individuals in official Republican leadership ensure that individuals in official Republican leadership positions do not publicly aid political opponents of the party. It is enforceable under the North Carolina Republican Party Plan of Organization, which governs all subordinate county and district party operations. As such, it carries binding authority over every member who holds a recognized party leadership role. Now, that's what we handed out. Too simple? It would have been very simple to read and very simple to understand. Irrefutable, indisputable, the rule of automatic resignation needs to be enforced to protect party unity. To protect party unity, what does it say? And loyalty. Now, if any member that publicly that they are known as committee members performs any of these acts, they have automatically resigned themselves. We don't have to do it. The leadership doesn't have to do it. The body doesn't have to do it. There is no vote. There is no discussion. They did it. Now, let me give you an example of how this works. Okay? When I was the secretary in the last board, I was the secretary for the Cumberland County GOP. There were several members that were running that were Republican. I may not have liked one of them or whatever. I still had to support them. I still had to support them because I understood this rule. If I do not, or if I support somebody that is opposing them, somebody that is running against our candidate, I understood that I was making a choice. Either I support our Republicans and maintain my position, or I support someone that is not in our party and I lose my membership. It's my choice. It's not up to the party. I have that choice. So here's let me give you this example. On the Board of Elections, there is a position called a precinct judge. They're the ones who sit in and on voting day, they take in all the ballots. They're making sure that everything in the precinct on voting day is running smoothly. People are getting their IDs checked. People are getting the proper ballots. People are in line. They are not breaking rules. They're making sure that the rules are being followed and that everything is above board. That's what the precinct judge does. And if anything goes wrong, the precinct judge is responsible. They have to fix it. They answer for it. They run out ballots. They got to do stuff. Okay, so, and they have to remain neutral. So if you desire, and they are recruiting, as a matter of fact, they are recruiting for the position of precinct judge. In any precinct where they don't have a precinct judge, they're advertising, come to the Board of Elections, and we can put you in that position. There's also a position in the Republican Party called a precinct chair. And the precinct chair is the person that is responsible in your precinct or their precinct to make sure that the Republicans in their precinct, which is it might be a neighborhood, it's an area of all the voters that vote at the same precinct. So the precinct chair in the Republican Party is responsible to make sure that the Republicans in their area understand who's on the ballot, when the voting date is, where to vote. Okay, so they're there for information, and they're there for information and for support and for help. Maybe there's somebody in the neighborhood that needs a ride to the precinct to vote. You can help them. Maybe they don't understand who all is on the ballot. They can help you with who's on the ballot, give you some materials, and inform you of how you can find out more about the candidate you want to know about. That's the precinct chair's job. They're not supposed to tell you who to vote for. That is forbidden. That is absolutely forbidden. You do not tell a voter how to vote and who they should vote for. Their responsibility is to tell you who's on the ballot and where to go vote and encourage you, please do vote. Please vote. Because every vote counts. Now, if you want to be a precinct judge, but you are a precinct chair, the Board of Elections is going to say, if you want to be a precinct judge, you cannot be a precinct chair. It's a conflict of interest. You can't do it. Because you have to remain neutral in this position. And this position, you're Republican. Precinct judge, you have to remain neutral on either party. But as a precinct chair, you're representing the Republican Party. So they say, okay, you can be one or the other. You have to make a decision. If you're going to be a precinct judge, you automatically resign from being a precinct chair. You can no longer be a precinct chair. You'll have to inform, you'll have to inform your the body or the precinct the Republican chair or the GOP chair. You'll have to inform them that you're no longer a chair, and they'll take you off the rolls because now you're a precinct judge, and that's fine. That's fine. But you can't be both. If you decide you want to remain a precinct chair, you cannot be a precinct judge. Why is that a problem? It's not a problem. Here's the thing. If you're in a PAC and you are in a position to endorse a candidate, You're in a position to endorse a candidate and you pick a favorite, but they're not Republicans. But you're also on the committee, the executive committee of the Republican Party. But you want to endorse somebody that's not a Republican. But as a committee member, you're not allowed to do that. So you have to choose. Do I endorse or do I refrain and wait till after the primary? You can't do both. If you decide, I'm going to go ahead and endorse, you automatically resign. Is that okay? How consequential is that? Why is it such a big deal? You actually, if you're part of a PAC, you actually have more power, more freedom when you're in the PAC. Let it go. Let go. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be on the executive committee at the same time. How consequential is it? Why do you have to have both? Why are you being so greedy? Let go. Let go. Let it go. But you can't have both. Do I endorse or do I stick with the Republicans and only do Republican? And that's all we're saying. When the PAC decided to endorse and they were all admitted publicly, they gave their names, they gave their positions, and they gave their and they admitted that they were all on the executive committee, and yet they decided to publicize all of that and endorse somebody that was not Republican. You automatically resigned. No vote. You made a decision. You made a decision. It's not a big deal. Why do you gotta have both? Take this one. Go for it. Be on the PAC. Do it. I don't care. We don't care. But Republicans should follow rules. Let's follow the rules. And when they decided to do that, and with 100 years of experience between them all, they should have known this rule that you can't do both. They're conflating this rule of automatic resignation with party disloyalty. They're not the same. Go back and read the rule. I just read the whole thing for you. I dissected it for you. It's irrefutable and indisputable. So what? You made your choice. You made your choice. It's okay. But the chair needs to acknowledge that you made your choice. Let it go. Take them off the rolls. It's not a big deal. Why do you got to have these people? It's inconsequential. It really doesn't matter. They have more freedom on the PAC. They have much more freedom. And nobody cares what you say or do. Go ahead. Do it. Do your PAC thing. Do it. Do it with all your might. You can even, now that you're off, you've already made your choice. You've already decided between the two. You decided endorse, stick with the PAC. What you should have done was remained anonymous. Had you remained anonymous, and nobody would have known, I guess. I mean, even though ethically, you should have known. You should have just said, yeah, but I can't do that. Let me just go ahead and I'll let that go. I'll let the party do their party thing, and we're going to do our PAC thing. Let the party do their party thing. Let the PAC do their PAC thing. So it's so simple. I don't understand why they're so afraid of it. Let it go. You made a choice. Stick with your PAC. You got a lot more freedom. There's so many more people that you can endorse. And the Republican Party, us, we won't care. We really, it's fine. As a matter of fact, we may take a look at who your choices are and say, they made a good choice. They made a good choice. I think I'll go with that. Or they may go, I don't know about that choice. I think I'm going to stick with Republican. Really? Why is there such a fight over this? Why is it such a big, it's really not a big deal. It's really not. And I don't know why they were so afraid to let us voice this. I don't understand why they were so afraid to lose these members. They can always come back. They can always come back. Just make a decision to go back on the committee, but then you have to let go of this. You got to let go of the PAC thing. You can't do it. So it's an either or. They made a choice. Now let's enforce. You made your choice. Now let's enforce. Okay? So the Republican Party is a party of rules. And they are explicitly laid out for us. And if you're a member, you should be reading it. And I'm frankly shocked at how many people in high position on the executive board that continue to argue it as if we're talking about party disloyalty. That's a whole nother issue, which could definitely be brought up, but that would need some explaining of its own. But let us not conflate the two. The issue that we were trying to bring to the attention of the chair was automatic resignation that does not need a vote, does not need a discussion, and does not merit appeal. Okay? It's simple. It's very simple. Choose one, lose the other. They made their choice. It's as simple as that. I hope I explained this well. I hope that everybody understands it more clearly. And I hope that you all make a great decision when it comes to voting on Tuesday, October 7th. Okay, do your research. Do your research. People are fighting so hard to get their candidate across. Some people are playing dirty. As you know, there's 10 candidates running for mayor. There are 7 Democrats, 1 unaffiliated, and 2 Republicans. My husband being one of the Republicans. As you can tell, he has a wife and a daughter that are very politically minded. That's why I'm on here. And that's why you may have seen my daughter do some stuff. We are very politically minded, but we're also rule followers. We believe in following the rules. And I'm going to tell you something real funny. So today, I was at the polling station, still wearing the clothes I was wearing at the polls. I was over there promoting my husband, letting everybody know as soon as they walk down through the gauntlet to go vote, you're having people yelling on both sides, yelling their candidates' names, handing out literature. I mean, people are going through the gauntlet. It's frankly nerve-wracking for the voter, because they're being handed literature and hearing, everybody's calling out names. It's like, oh my goodness, it is going through the gauntlet. And as I do, I hand out mine. I'm part of it. I'm an electioneer. So you have the whole camp of electioneers. When I say camp, there's tents up, there's tables, there's chairs, there's just lots of literature, people wearing their gear. Look at me. I got Freddie for mayor, everybody's wearing their gear and trying to promote their candidate, which is what we're supposed to do as electioneers. And what's funny is when they come out, going in, it's like nerve-wracking for the poor voters. I feel for them, I do. But I'm part of it too, though. So, but when they come out of those double doors and they're walking out and they got their sticker, I voted, everybody's going, have a nice day, thank you for voting, and they get all of the accolades. Thank you so much for voting. We appreciate it. Every vote counts. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. And then it's like, oh, they go out so relieved. Oh, they finally did it. They're done. But I have noticed a lot of people in the camp. So this is Freddie's 3rd time running. Okay, third time running for mayor. The first 2 times he ran, the first time it was during COVID, it was an off season, the election had been pushed off. You know, Freddie came out of nowhere, and there was nobody running against. Was there anybody running against Mitch Golden? So Freddie threw his hat in the ring, and the second time, you know, people knew more, but you know, the second time people got to know him a little more. But now everybody knows him. All of the people in the camps, in all of our opponents, all the other candidates, they know us. They know us. We're out there. We're helping. We're all helping each other. Can I get anything for you? Guys need water. You know, everybody's being all nice and, you know, being real nice to each other and caring for one another. Well, one of the people on the Cumberland County GOP board that was mentioned in a recent article of the City View as having an incident with my daughter, and she opposes this rule for some reason. I don't know why. I don't understand that, but she opposes that rule, maybe because it would disqualify her from being on the board anymore because she was just elected to be on the board. Anyway, she came into camp this morning. She came into camp with her little GoPro, her little selfie stick, you know, and her little gimbal with her phone, and she was doing interviews all throughout. Thing is, people know her and recognize her. People know me. And this person does not like me or my daughter or my husband. She's openly campaigning against my husband. And she's a Republican on the Cumberland County Executive Board of the Republican Party. Executive Board. Publicly campaigning for an unaffiliate. Can't do both. You can't. Automatic resignation. But they're currently not enforcing that rule for some reason. There's a few people that came out and were openly campaigning for the unaffiliate. And my husband, being a Republican, strong Republican, and everybody knows it. All the Democrats, they know it. But they also know Freddie. They know him. They know his character. They know his heart. They know both of us. They know us. They see us. We're in all the circles. They all know us. And here she comes with her little gimbal, and she's doing her little, you know, interview with people and dancing and, you know, on the sidewalk, and everybody's like, what in the world is she doing? Okay, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing, but okay. But she came over to me, and people were watching as she came over to me, and she approached me with a little camera and asked me a question, a very provocative question. And they watched, and all the people in the camp were watching. I didn't realize it. I just thought, oh boy, here she comes. Okay, here she comes. Lord help me. Lord help me. Give me grace. Give me wisdom. And she came over there and asked her a very provocative question. And I'm sure it's going to be on her podcast, which is fine. Post it. I don't care. But she came over asking her little provocative question, and I answered it as graciously as I could. And then she walked off very smugly. After it was all over, and we're tearing down and taking down all of our signs, the polls are closed, no voters, just the rest of us electioneers, and we're cleaning up the property. And I was walking down to my red line limo, if you've seen me in it, it's my golf cart that seats 6, that has Freddie for mayor on both front and back. Very cool. If you haven't seen it, it's so much fun. Anyway, I'm walking down to that to bring it up so I can load it with some signs. And as I walked down, there were about 5 of the electioneers. One of them very prominent, from one of the other candidates' teams. And she says to me as I'm walking down, she says, Venus, I just want to tell you that you handled that beautifully. And I was like, what? Handled what? And she said, that girl was trying to provoke you. We were all watching. We all saw it. We all saw it. And we saw she was trying to provoke you. And she said to me, she said, if that was me, it would not have ended that well. It would not have ended that well. And they were laughing. They said, that would not have gone like that. One of the ladies, oh my goodness, she said, if that was me, those pants would have been sleeves. I didn't realize people were watching. I'm just sitting there just trying to just hold and maintain and watch and trying to be gracious and just let her do her thing. You go right ahead and do your thing. They said, we know her. We know who she is. She ran for city council once and we know who she is and we know her. She's messy. And they said it would not have gone that way if it was them. And they said, for one thing, talking about a candidate's wife, talking about a candidate's wife, but talking about your child, it wouldn't have gone down with just words. It wouldn't have gone down like that. And I'm talking about a very prominent woman in the camp, in the campaign, that is an opponent. And she noticed. And I said, can I just have a hug? Can I just have a hug? And then we just hugged. I said, thank you so much for that. Because it was shameful, really is what it was. But praise God, Lord, just give me grace. Just give me grace. And I didn't realize everybody was watching. I didn't know what they were thinking, but apparently everybody was watching. Everybody saw her from the time she got there until the time she left. And that has been the talk. That's been the talk. She's messy. What is Venus going to do? Uh-oh. Wow. Venus handled that beautifully. We just got to give you credit, girl. I had people coming up going, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. They're like, girl. And they would shake their head. Are you okay? I am. I'm fine. And they're like, man, they just shake their heads like, that was not right. That was not right. And she didn't make her candidate, she didn't do her candidate any favors doing that. She really didn't. She didn't do her candidate any favors. So anyway, that's my funny story for the day. As I sit down and wind down, I just wanted to go over this little piece of information and tell that funny story. Freddie for mayor, folks. He's the man for the job. 32-year retired lieutenant colonel. He commanded the largest MP battalion in Army history during wartime. He set up police stations throughout Iraq during wartime. He knows what he's doing. He knows about safety and security. He has handled multi-million-dollar budgets in foreign countries. Iraq, Saudi Arabia. He was a liaison to the king in Saudi Arabia. He's handled contracts. He knows how to read contracts. He knows what should be on a contract. He knows about contracts and contractors. He's a great problem solver. He has been in conference and in strategic meetings with very high officials in life and death situations, okay, when lives depend on it. And he's been in these meetings with politicians, with colonels and generals, with foreign commanders. He can talk to anybody, and even everybody in the camp knows Freddie's a good man. He's easy to talk to. And I guarantee you, anybody who gets in the city council will be able to work with Freddie. They'll be able to work with him. He's a good man. Look him up, FreddieForMayor.com. Look at his resume. He's going to read out his resume. Watch the video because he reads out his resume, and it is impressive. It's so impressive. I was impressed. I've been married to him for 42 years, and I didn't know what he did until he wrote out his resume. And he said, check this out and tell me if you see any errors on it or see if you need typos. I read that thing, my head exploded. I said, you've been doing this while I've been at home just taking care of 5 to 6 kids? That's what you've been doing? Oh, I thought I had a hard job. I thought I was doing something impressive, homeschooling my kids, raising 6 kids while my husband is off deployed and doing stuff and being the single, not single mom, but you know what I'm saying. Having to parent my kids without my husband around, doing that thing. That's what I've been doing. Stay-at-home mom, 6 kids, and I'm thinking this is a hard job. What? When I read that resume, I just could not believe. My head exploded. I'd never been more impressed with my husband than when I read that resume. Watch his resume. He's going to read out a lot of the stuff. He'll tell you some of the stuff he's done, just a few of the things he's done. But watch FreddieForMayor.com and vote for him. I encourage you. I'm not any PAC and I'm not on the committee, so I can endorse my husband. I don't have to make a choice. So anyway, so vote for him. Early voting is ended, and they have 1 day left for early voting, and that is Tuesday, October 7th. Tuesday, October 7th, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we will know probably by 9 o'clock maybe who has made it, who are the top 2 contenders for the general election in November. Who will make it through the primary? With your help, we can get Freddie through. Thank you all. Thank you all so much, and God bless you.